From the lowest to the highest, from the furthest to the nearest, from the smallest of the smallest to the greatest of the greatest, yoga is about all of life, everything we do, all of existence. My name's James Boag. Welcome to the Whole Life Yoga Podcast. Today I'm going to do a song episode, and I'm shortly going to be traveling to Italy to share a program on living the 8 limbs in Italian. And by way of preparation, I have been reading a bit more in Italian, and when I get there I'll have the chance to obviously speak more Italian. And this brings me to this yogic song. It's an Italian folk song, and it's a very, very famous song in Italy, a very well-known song. And it has many different associations. The song, as I understand it, now this is the folklore, the mythology of the song that I know. There may be other histories of the song that are very different, but this is how I learned the song. When I studied Italian at university, ab initio, from the beginning, in the first year, the textbook was called In Italiano, and the In Italiano textbook featured this song. And we listened to the lyric and filled in the gaps maybe, I can't remember exactly. But when I heard this song, it's called Bella Ciao, it somehow was very familiar. And what I've noticed as I've shared this song in many places around the world, when people hear the song, something resonates deep inside. This song somehow speaks to a spirit that many people from many different cultural backgrounds can connect to and relate to. And I interpret Bella Ciao foundationally as a song of spirit. It is a song about connecting and reconnecting and waking up and then taking the positive, courageous steps towards freedom, towards the deepest, freest, fullest, most beautiful expression of what it means to be a human being. Bear with me if you already have other ideas about the song. As I understand it, the song originally was a song that people, especially women, would sing when they went out to harvest. And during the autumn time, as they're collecting and gathering in the fields, they would sing this song, Bella Ciao. And they would sing to the beauty of the morning and the beauty of the day that had provided them the gifts of the harvest with which they would feed themselves and their families and their community in the season to come. And so this was a song, as I understand it, of thanksgiving and celebration of the gifts and the munificence of the earth. It was one of these songs which used to be very common. Only a few generations back, most people would sing together most days, and many of the songs that we would sing would be songs that were a type of celebration, a type of thanksgiving, and they connected us to the rhythm of life. Now, in the yogic perspective, manifest existence is rhythmic, it's pulsating, it has a rhythm. And the English word rhythm can be etymologically related to the Sanskrit word rita. So can the English word right. So to be right, to be in rhythm, to be in tune, means to express oneself in a way that is in balance and harmony and dynamic equilibrium with the pulsating reality of manifest life. So to live in the right way means to live in a way that expresses the beauty within ourselves and contributes to the beauty of this magnificent planet that we have the opportunity to experience. This planet that is so generous. This planet that offers us so much nourishment and healing potential. And this, I don't know, I've heard this from many different people over the years, but just look at how generous nature is. You cut open a carrot, what does it look like? It looks like an eye. What are carrots good for? They're good for your eyesight. You look at an avocado, it looks like a uterus. What is it good for? It's good for the uterus. And all of this, there's so many ways that nature is giving us signs of how to work with it skillfully and harmoniously. Anyway, Bella Ciao, as I understand it, was a song of thanksgiving. a song of celebration, that the women, when they would go to harvest, would sing together to celebrate the beauty of the day, the gifts of the sun, the gifts of the earth, the gifts of the sky and the rains and life on this planet. Yes, nature is red in tooth and claw, but nature is also green, blue, and munificent. And this is represented so beautifully in the Indic vision of the goddess, who has these gentle, nurturing, caring forms and has these ravenous, ravaging, devouring forms. Nature is both of these things, but let us not forget that nature is also so kind and generous. And if we apprentice ourselves to her wisdom, to her beauty, if we get in tune with her rhythms, then we can actually co-create and collaborate in a vision and experience of life that is even more beautiful, even more munificent, even more enriching, nourishing. So we're going to have a richer, fuller experience, savor the gifts of life. And if we can muster the courage and the presence to drink deep from the cup of life, there is the idea in yoga. When we do that, when we give ourselves permission to fully inhabit this present moment, then we can live it to the full. And when we live each moment to the full, there's no space for regret. The karmic residue is minimized. The learning opportunity is maximized. And so, therefore, is the opportunity for that active engagement with life to lead us further towards freedom. Freedom from our limiting ideas and our conditionings. And closer to more unimpeded connection with the pilot of conscience. The pilot of our deepest intelligence that is connected to the universal intelligence of the cosmos. Anyway, Bella Ciao. During the Second World War, in Italy, the partigiani, those who were fighting against fascism, they took the song and wrote new verses. And these are the verses that I was first exposed to and I became familiar with, and then since I have sung many, many times over the years. And some of my Italian friends loved singing this song. I went to university in Italy in Parma, and Parma and Bologna, that whole region of northern Italy, has a fairly, one of the things that's important in that region was collective farming. And there were these organizations, I don't know what it's like now, but back in the day, there was this idea of cooperative farming. And so there was an association with the traditional left, not like these days, left and right, but this idea of let's work together to create enough so we can all have enough and thrive, and then we can share in the surplus. So there was an association with the traditional left of the idea of having a social safety net, let's say. And some of my Italian friends who were more, this is back in the 20th century, when left and right meant slightly different things to what they might mean these days, when everything seems to be so crazy. But being associated with the left was more associated with this idea of looking after each other, looking after the resources so that we all have enough and there will be sustainable resources. And so some of my friends who were more associated with the left in Italy would love to sing this song. And in Bologna, for example, at the football matches, the crowd would also sing this song. Anyway, it's been associated with the Italian left, but more broadly, it's been associated with resisting fascism, resisting extremism, resisting any force that would impede the freedom of life to express its individual, unique beauty. And so in the Second World War, the partigiani, the Italians who were fighting against fascism, they took up this song as one of their anthems. And then they created this version. And there's slight variations. For example, the song uses the hypothetical mood or tense, the subjunctive, but I will sing it grammatically incorrect because I find the grammatically incorrect version has a little bit richer poetry to it. So I'll use the present simple instead of the hypothetical mood when I come into some of the subsequent verses. But I'm going to sing the song now, Bella Ciao. Now, Bella Ciao has been sung in many different ways by many different people, and sometimes when I've sung it to Italians, especially older Italians, they have given me a lot of encouragement. They say, I like the way that you invited me to consider the beauty in this song in a different way. So I know that some people, they prefer singing it in different ways, but I'm going to sing it from my heart to you, and I hope you enjoy it. And then I'm going to talk about it as a song of yoga and a song of freedom. So here's the song, and coming up soon will be the interpretation. Una mattina mi so svegliato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi so svegliato e ho trovato l'invasor. O partigiano, portami via. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via, perché ho temo di morir. E se io muoio da partigiano, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Se io muoio da partigiano, tu mi devi seppellir. E seppellimi lassù in montagna. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Seppellimi lassù in montagna, sotto l'ombra di un bel fior. E poi la gente che passeranno, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Poi la gente che passeranno mi diranno che bel fiore. E questo il fiore del partigiano. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Sì, questo è il fiore del partigiano morto per la libertà. Sì, questo è il fiore del partigiano morto per la libertà. So, this is the song Bella Ciao in a version, or the version that originated during the Second World War, when the partigiani, the partisans, the Italian resistance, were fighting against the fascists. And so the first verse begins, Una mattina, one morning, mi so svegliato, I woke up, e ho trovato l'invasor, and I found the invader. So I'm going to interpret this song in the context of now, the ever new now, and the person who is practicing yoga, the person who is seeking truth, the person who is seeking realization, the person who is seeking to harmonize the field of their being. One morning I woke up and I found that my thinking, my ways of perceiving had been invaded, had been colonized, had been infected by the invader, by these forces that would blinker my vision, that would enmesh me in ways of self-delusion, that would set me on a path to perpetuating suffering, that would deny my individuality, that would deny the spark of the divine that resides in the heart of every human being, and would try and enslave me in ways of colonization, in ways of being a pawn in somebody else's power game. for example. Or one morning, this morning, again and again, I wake up. Awakening. Awakening is not a one-off affair. Awakening happens day after day. As we keep practicing, we will come to recognize, we'll wake up to the fact that I've been getting in my own way. I've been deluding myself. I have been deceiving myself, perhaps not wantonly, but just subconsciously. I've been harboring all these ideas. I've got these woundings, and because of those woundings, scabs have grown up around them, and these have created veilings, and those veilings, these impurities, they are getting in the way of me seeing clearly. But now I see the particular veiling, now I see the particular wounding, and it's been an invasive force. It's not been working for my own sustainable well-being. Maybe when that wound was inflicted, the way I responded was optimal, was appropriate, was helpful in that situation. But the habit that it set in motion is now obsolete. It's no longer conducive to my well-being. So it's time to harmonize that part of my psychic reality. Time to clear the psychic minefield of that thing and get it out of my way so I can actually move forwards in greater tranquility, in greater wholeness. So, una mattina mi sono svegliato e ho trovato l'invasore. Next verse. O partigiano, O partisan, you who know how to fight for freedom, portami via, take me away from this limiting, congealing, enslaving, colonizing force, this invading force. Because otherwise I fear dying. Now, we all fear death. But the way I interpret this verse, we are always dying. That's the nature of life. Let's remember this. In the modern world, there's this strange delusion that tries to pretend or forget that we're all going to die. Although perhaps it's not that new. I mean, in the Mahabharata epic, the Mahabharata that, is an ancient text, Yudhishthira, one of the main characters, is asked in these riddles it's actually by his father, who he's never met, his father who's Dharma or Yama, the incarnation of cosmic justice, you might say. And he asks him, what is the strangest thing in existence? And Yudhishthira responds that death is coming for each person, but we all act as if we're an exception. How true this is. But what I want to suggest is that as long as we are alive, we are dying. So let's live. Let's make the most of this opportunity to live. If we pretend that death isn't coming, if we deny death, the chances we're going to miss life. So while we are dying, let's enjoy the living. Let's make the most of it. If I allow myself to stay trapped in preconceived notions, in social conditionings which would try and put me, a rounded human, into some little compartmentalized box, then I fear I will die. And how true this is. Human beings are not blocks. We are each of us unique expressions of the intelligence with which the whole of life is woven. Just like every plant is unique, just like every tree is unique, every human being is unique. And human beings, from the Indic perspective, our uniqueness is a little bit more multifaceted than the uniqueness of the plants and the rocks, because we have so many aspects to our intelligence, but that intelligence is underlain by the intelligence of cosmic life itself. Each of us are participative in this unfolding of consciousness and the intelligence with which the whole of life is woven. So to try to put a human into a box is, if I dare use this word, a sin. Meaning it's missing the whole point. We are not blocks. We are not machines. Artificial intelligence may long ago have outstripped us in computational capacity, but we have access to intelligence that is not artificial. We have access to human intelligence that is the result of gazillions of years of cosmic evolution. We have access to an extraordinary intelligence when we bring together all the instruments of our intelligent being. This is what yoga invites us to do. So you who know how to fight for freedom, take me away from the falsity of trying to fit into a box. of trying to dance to somebody else's tune, a tune that has been concocted to perhaps play out somebody's corrupt, deluded power fantasy. No, I am a unique child of existence itself. Let me express my own unique divinity. Divinity in the sense we can perceive. We are perceiving creatures. We have consciousness. We have creative capacities. Let us use them. And don't make yourself fit into a box. And I'll just say this, I'm in the mood today, I'm having a bit more of a free flow. And I will say, this is something that annoys me. When people try to put human beings into boxes, the person does this, so they think, oh, it's one of them. Or the person says this, it's one of them. How about the idea that humans are complex and we are nuanced creatures? And anytime we put a human being in a box, we're actually lying to ourselves. And we are compounding our own delusion, our own separation from the truth of existence, when we fall into the trap of scapegoating or blame gaming or putting somebody into some convenient categorized box, which is almost certainly a misrepresentation of the complexity of their individual human being. Anyway, back to the song. O partigiano, portami via perché temo di morir. Take me away from the confines of this conditioning that is limiting me. Take me away from this mindset which would trap me, enmesh me, and stop me expressing the deeper longings of my conscience and my human potential and capacity. Se io muoio da partigiano, tu mi devi seppellire. If I die fighting for freedom, then you must bury me. Where? Lassù in montagna, up high in the mountains, under the shade of a beautiful flower. And then the people who pass by will see that flower, and they will say, this is the flower of the partigiano, of the one who gave their life in the cause for freedom. So as the song culminates, is the idea that whenever we dedicate ourselves to the ways of freedom, nothing is ever lost, because we're investing in the account that never depreciates. As Krishna says to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, no sincere effort on this path towards wholeness, this path towards deeper congruence, deeper integration, no effort on this path is ever lost. There is no such thing as going in the wrong direction. From the cosmic perspective, from the ultimate perspective, every step in that direction counts, is worthwhile, and it's never lost. Because what do we take with us? We take with us the imprints deep into our psychic field. The things that we accumulate in the material realm, they're dying, they're dissolving. That's what happens to the material existence. It's born, it will die. In between those two great chains, it will constantly be changing. What we carry forwards is that which is imprinted deep into our souls, the expression of our spirit. Every time we heed the call of conscience and enact the ways of congruence and harmony, and we are in rhythm, this imprints deep into our consciousness, and we carry that with us. It fortifies us, it encourages us. Anytime our conscious asks that we do something that may feel difficult, but we do it, and it's its own self-validating reward, we never lose that. We are investing in something that nobody, no thing can take away from us. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you fail or you die working towards that which you think, you feel deep in your soul is the right thing to do, you don't lose. It's impossible. This is the win-win situation. Because if you succeed, you will enjoy the fruits with a clear conscience. And if you fail, you'll know you did your best, so you will rest with a clear conscience. You have eliminated the toxic or imbalanced karmic residue. Whereas, if you act for convenience's sake, if you ignore your conscience, or you cave in to the voices of conditioning which would make you shrink back from the course of action that deep down you know is the right thing to do, you just give ammunition to those internal enemies that would keep us chained to the ways of limitation. Next time we're in a threshold situation where we could move forwards courageously, heeding conscience, and prove to ourselves our true mettle, then those forces of the status quo, the comfort zone that isn't really comfortable, but is perpetuating our misery and delusion, they've got more ammunition to work with. So that's a lose-lose situation. If I don't heed conscience, I'm going to suffer now and later. If I do heed conscience, I might have to be very courageous. I might have to struggle a bit, but it's going to be its own reward. So when I give myself to freedom, when I give myself to my soul's deepest longing, nothing is ever lost, because this makes an imprint into the depths also of the collective consciousness. Because then, e poi la gente che passeranno mi diranno che bel fior. Then the people who pass by, they will notice this beautiful flower. They will see its beauty. They will notice its fragrance. And that fragrance will begin to permeate the collective field. Every time we take the bold, courageous step of heeding conscience, we are not acting alone. We are acting with the support of all those who've gone before us and who have also acted in those ways, heeding their conscience, heeding the call of the heart, acting in the ways of courage, and acting to resist the ways of corruption. Corruption rupturing from the wisdom of the heart, like severing ourselves, disregarding the deep intuitive wisdom of the pilot of conscience. As long as we're a human being, and as long as we have a beating heart, we have access to courage. And yoga, again and again, invites us to practice the ways of courage, to look beyond our habitual ways of looking, into the unknown, into the dark, to examine the perspectives with which we've become accustomed to seeing reality, and allow ourselves to notice where I've been getting in my own way, where I've been deluding myself. How can I listen to the voice of conscience more clearly? And once I hear it, how can I enact its invitations and its directives more coherently, more congruently, in ways that will foster deeper balance, deeper harmony, deeper integration, deeper reconciliation, deeper healing. So for me, Bella Ciao, it's a song that I've shared many times over the years, and for me it's a song of freedom. It's a song that invites and connects us to the energy of genuine courage, the courage to bring forth the beauty that emerges whenever we act in congruence, with coherence, with integration. When I share this live, many different things come up depending who's in the room, but speaking to camera, that's the best I can do for today. I hope you enjoyed the song. You can probably tell if you've been listening to these recent episodes, I do like singing a lot. Some people have said I should always sing in my podcasts. Please keep sending the feedback, it's much appreciated. If you would like to know more about my teachings and sharings on holistic yoga, whole life yoga, how we can work with the teachings and principles of yoga in all aspects of life, I would invite you to sign up to my newsletter, which you can access via my website, jamesboagyoga.com, and that will alert you to any teaching, sharing opportunities, whether it's on online courses, in-person retreats, workshops, and other opportunities to explore the teachings in person and online. If you've enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe on YouTube, and if you've been listening on one of the podcast platforms, if it's also possible to like and subscribe there, if you feel so inclined, I'd be very grateful for that. I look forward to sharing more. Thank you very much for listening. And before I sign off today, may we find the courage to bring forth that beauty that is inherent within all of us.